These episodes are intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion advised.
My safety net's not here.
Yeah.
And I was afraid, like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? So I'm trying to cope with the fact that I don't have what they have.
Mm.
And it wasn't coping in a positive way. It was just, like, I felt like I was self-destructing. A lot of how I felt, it was a lot of negative on myself, like negative self-talk. It had nothing to do with what everybody else was saying, because everybody else didn't see me how I saw me, and made me think like, okay, am I doing everything I need to do to take care of me? And once I sat in that for a hot minute during COVID, I realized I wasn't happy. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And I started taking my mental health seriously, and I started falling back in love with myself.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode on Stories of a Dandelion. Today we have Briana, and I have not seen you forever. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, yeah.
It has, but it's so great to have you on a podcast. Thank you for coming on, and welcome to the podcast.
Of course.
Alright, so
the advice I would give some.
Let me ask the question first, girl.
Oh, my bad, girl.
Look, y'all, I done told her the first question. She trying to take my part, y'all.
Of course.
Now, first question. If you were 18 and graduating from high school this year, what advice would you give yourself?
The advice I would give myself is, it is okay not to be in the same place as your peers. It is okay that your peers are advancing a little bit better than you are, because that doesn't mean you're not going to get there. It's just not meant for you right now. And you're not a failure. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just how you're living your life, and your path to life is different from theirs.
Yeah.
That's what advice I give somebody.
Okay. So what came to that? How did you get to that conclusion? Tell me about your life from the time you were born to the person you are now.
So what I do for work now, I'm an assistant manager in retail. So I work with a couple of kids that are getting ready to graduate high school now anyway. So they're going through the same process we went through, college applications, trying to navigate life. And as I'm talking to them and reflecting on myself and how far I've come, I said, you can't bog yourself down with what other people are doing, because it's exhausting. And you're never going to see the progress you're making in your life by comparing it to everybody else, by watching everybody else. So you got to focus on you. You can't focus on what everybody else around you is doing, because you're going to stunt your growth. And you're always going to be behind. You're always going to feel like you're behind every single time.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. So tell me about your life from the time you're born to now.
I'll start when I was at Shave. At Shave was I want to say high school. For me, was a good time. And I thought after graduating it would be rough, but it wasn't, because some people that we went to high school with, that I graduated with, came to Virginia too. So it was still nice to still have some people around, but it was also nice because I went to HBCU. So I went to Norfolk State University. So it was a big culture shock, because living from being very diverse to having an abundance of people that look like you. And it's wow. And then getting adjusted to the Black culture. And you're oh, I'm missing out on a lot. But it was a nice and fun experience that I would never, ever forget. And that's one thing I tell everybody of color is, if you can go to a HBCU once, go, because it'll change your perspective of what it's like to be Black. It'll change it. And you have more love for your culture and your community. So that was good. And then after I graduated, I was working and teetering on getting my master's. Yeah, we went and got it. And I'm going to be honest, I did fail out my first semester because I wasn't mentally where I needed to be to get the degree. Because it was, okay, you get your bachelor's, your master's is the next logical step. But for me, it wasn't my next logical step.
So
and from there, I can't really say
it
put me in a bad mental headspace, though.
Okay.
And COVID, of course, happened, and now I can say I'm much happier. with where I'm working and where I'm at in life. And I did go back and get my master's, and I did it. So I finished this year, which is like amazing for me.
Okay. What did you get your bachelor's and master's in?
So I got my bachelor's in journalism and print media. Well, journalism with a concentration in print media. And I just got my master's in organizational leadership and management.
Okay. What are you looking to do with those? Are you looking...
So right now I'm like an assistant manager at a retail store. So like I'm using my my master's degree already. But with my degree, I do want to go into corporate America. And with the company I'm working for, there is upward mobility and upward growth. So it's just taking my time, learning my job as a whole to move up in the company.
Gotcha.
Or even not at that company, but somewhere else.
Okay. So tell me about how you got out of that bad mental space after trying to force yourself into this square or bubble that you weren't meant to be in.
So COVID helped me because at the time, let me take it back. 2019 was that's when I failed out of my master's program. So that was the worst year, because after I failed, it seemed like everything negative was happening to me. And I was like, what in the world? And work was one of the biggest stressors for me because I was truly, truly unhappy. And so when COVID hit, it made me take a step back and fully examine my life, and made me think okay, am I doing everything I need to do to take care of me? And once I sat in that for a hot minute during COVID, I realized I wasn't happy. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And I started taking my mental health seriously. And I started falling back in love with myself. I had my eat, pray, love moment during COVID. And it taught me a lot. And I knew when I went back to work, I couldn't work there. So I ultimately found another job. And with that, I got a chance to continue to work on my mental health and get out of that headspace to improve who I was as a person and be back to who I used to be. Not even used to be, a better version of who I was before, failing out of school and all that. Okay.
So did you go to therapy during that time, or was it just kind of as you started focusing on yourself, you started feeling better?
So one of the biggest things that I had to do before I even got to where I am now was truly, truly be brutally honest with myself. Not oh, I'm fine, I'm a mask it, because that's what I do. Oh, I'm fine, even though deep down, it bothers me. And it's truly sitting with the fact that I'm not okay, and accepting the fact that it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay not to want to do something, say no to somebody. And when I did that during COVID, sat with myself and truly, truly thought about it, it helped, because I got a lot of how I felt. It was a lot of negative on myself, negative self-talk. It had nothing to do with what everybody else was saying, because everybody else didn't see me how I saw me. Yeah. So it was about me getting out of my head about the negative self-talk, saying not everybody can finish their master's degree in the first go. People fail out. It is normal. It is okay. But it's how I dealt with it. And once I started understanding how to deal with my emotions and talk it out with myself, but being honest and not sugarcoating it, it got me out of that space. But it was also me falling in love with, okay, what makes me happy as a person? What makes me happy as me? What are things that I'm willing to do, not willing to do? What am I not willing to put up with? And as I gone that journey, work, like I said, was my job was one of the biggest stressors of my life at the time. And it was, I can't go back there because I know I'll go back to that same mental headspace. So it was, okay, finding a new job, accepting the fact that I have a new job, and understanding that life change, I'm changing for the better because I do have long-term goals. And it helped and it helped me a lot, but also opening up more to my family, willing for them to listen to me, and opening up with my friends. Hey, I'm not okay. I need some advice. I need help, because just talking it out with them helps me better understand, okay, what is my thought process? What am I trying to do? What am I trying to say? How am I trying to regulate my emotions? And it was with the support of my friends and my family who really helped me get out of it, but more so me doing a lot of the work for myself and surrounding myself, not just on social media, but in life, with people who have that more positive outlook, who takes mental health seriously, who is putting in the work themselves. So it's like seeing everybody else be dedicated helped me be more dedicated with trying to get myself out of that slump. And I can say, like, 2023 was when I officially, I could say to myself, got out of that slump, because it was like I got rid of another job that I was not happy at. But I also was in the process of starting my master's degree, so it was like 2023 was like my fresh start, a new beginning for me. And I took it as, okay, it's a new beginning, starting fresh. It was like reinventing myself as a person and saying, okay, yeah, I really am done with these bad habits here. I am really done with these people here. I'm not putting up with this anymore. And throughout the year, I fell in love with myself all over again. But I also grew. I started doing things that I never thought I would do, but experiencing new things, meeting new people, like just living my life. And that like set me up for this year, like 2024, being in like the best mental headspace, in love with my job, finishing up my degree, and like seeing myself like on the next steps. So it's awesome. Like I'm happy. Like I can say I truly am happy with like how my life is going, but also how my mental state is changing and evolving in the same breath.
Yeah. So how did you get into that? Like, because you got out of the headspace you were in. What in your life makes you think that, or the reasons that you got into that headspace in the first place? Like, was it because of the military lifestyle, or was it like you have to have everything figured out and your mental health just kind of is on the back burner, nobody cares? Or was there like a particular thing in life that happened that kind of set you on that path?
Like for me, what it was is, I would say, because one, consuming a lot of social media, because to me that plays to anybody a big part in it, because like going on Facebook, Instagram, all these things, and seeing my peers, I'm like, dang, like y'all are doing this, y'all are this. I'm like, hell, we're not even out of our 20s and y'all already married, got kids. I'm over here like, honey, I'm just like, I'm not going to the club every weekend because you know. So it's like seeing them being like more accomplished, and at that point in my life, I'm like, I'm still living. I'm doing the kid thing in my 20s, like going to the club, partying, and trying to travel. And it's like, and it made me feel like, okay, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing because I'm not doing what they're doing. I'm not progressing like they're progressing. And that took a toll on me. But then also some of the people that I was hanging around at that time, also like we were together at the same point, going to the clubs, getting, drinking and all that. But then it's like I guess the light went off for them, and they flipped a switch and they started, okay, doing what everybody else doing, like getting in a meaningful relationship, getting their life together. And I'm over here like, I'm crashing and burning because I'm going out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I ain't got my life together. Like, so like it just felt like everybody around me at the same time decided to get their life together, and I'm like, hey, how you got it together? I'm trying to figure out, so when we going out again? When we going to DC? When we going here? When we like, just not taking it as seriously as they were. It was just, I'm having fun. I'm like in my 20s. What do I look like? Getting married, settling down. But I was like, well, everybody's doing it, so clearly that's what you're supposed to do. And it did get me down because like being exposed to that so much, like on my social media with my peers, it was just like, it was hard to accept the fact that, okay, that is not my life when it felt like it should be because everybody was doing it. And I'm like, what do I do? So it made me feel like a failure when in reality, now that I see it, I wasn't. It's just, it wasn't meant for me to get married and have kids in my 20s.
Yeah. Us as military brats move a little quickly. Like we graduate high school, and then like next thing we know, like we're married and have kids. Like,
right? And I was like, at first, I was like, oh, I'm happy for everybody. And I was like, oh, y'all still together? Like y'all still together? Oh wow, I didn't realize y'all were still dating. Oh, now y'all married? Oh, nice. Now you got kids. I'm like, y'all moving real quick. We barely 25. like we're barely 25. We're like, okay.
Yeah, we be moving quick. I love seeing it. I'd be like, oh, somebody else had another baby. Great.
I do too. But at that time, I didn't like seeing that. I was like, so who am I going to marry and have kids with so I can be like, no? Now it's like, oh, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go. Yeah. But then it wasn't like, I didn't have that same mentality as I do now. So that was a big part of me being in that negative mental headspace is seeing my peers like fast track to life. And I'm like, dang. So it made me feel like I was like eons behind, when in reality I really wasn't.
Yeah. Do you think like clubbing and like going out was kind of like a comfort zone? Because like it's like you knew that like this is where you thrive, and so it was easy to be in that environment.
Well, I think what it was for me is, one, I was enjoying my 20s like everybody should.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they didn't enjoy theirs, but I'm saying like I was enjoying it, living it up, having a good time. But at the same time, it was, okay, the friend group I had, we were all single, we weren't nothing. So it was like, okay, great. But a part of me was still sad and like felt left behind. And I did thrive with my friends doing that, going out, you know, because I'm having fun, I'm the it girl, but deep down I was like, that ain't me, y'all. I want to be at home cuddled up too, like with 2.5 kids and a dog.
2.5 2.5.
Like, I want to be at the club at 3-4 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out how we get home. Like, I don't want that. But that's where I was. And I feel like, and for me, looking back, that was a way of coping for the fact that I felt like I wasn't where I needed to be. So it's like, I'm going out, I'm drinking, I'm having all this fun because I'm trying to cope with the fact that I don't have what they have. And it wasn't coping in a positive way. It was just, like, I call it I was self-destructing, but just masking, well, I'm fine, not making everybody seem like, oh, it's okay, it doesn't bother me, when deep down it did.
Yeah. So, did you feel like you couldn't talk to your friends, or was it just, or your family?
Like, it's not that I didn't feel like I couldn't talk to anybody, because when I did, it was one of those, what I did, it was like, oh, that's not, just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's not meant for you. It's just not meant for you in this moment. And it's like, you're living your life how you're supposed to be living your life. And even though they were telling me those things, it just wasn't clicking for me. It was like, I hear what you're saying, but it's not sinking in that what you're saying is valid. So it was like so it took me a while to really, truly grasp you are right. How just because someone else that I went to high school with is married and got kids, that don't mean it's not meant for me. It's just that wasn't meant for my life in that moment. So in my 20s, it wasn't meant for me to have kids and get married. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be meant for me in my 30s. Yeah. It's just my 20s were meant for me to live my life. And so I was able to talk, but it just didn't like stick. They were saying it, but it wasn't sticking. I was like, I said, y'all right. No, deep down, you ain't right. So,
yeah, that negative self-talk can definitely get in the way of you seeing what your family or friends see, and truly understand like how life unfolds. And it's so weird because a lot of times, like I felt like you in the past as well, where I see my friends getting married, having kids, and I'm like, well, is that where I'm supposed to be? And then, like, I think around, like, 25, I was like, no, it's not where I'm supposed to be. Like, I know I'm meant to be exactly where I am right now. But, yes, every now and then, like, I still be like, oh, man, like, I do want to be married. But, like, these last couple of years, I've been, like, reevaluating everything in life. It's like, yeah, you know, if I get married, I will love to get married. You know, I pray to God that I get married. But, like, you know, the other stuff, it's like, am I doing it because I want to, or is it I'm doing it to please somebody else, or because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do in life? So I've been slowly reevaluating that. Have you been doing the same?
Okay, so I agree. When I hit 25, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, a light went off that is like, okay, I knew that it was okay not to be where my friends are, but I would be honest, it took for me when I finally turned 30, for the light to really go off. And that's when I started to really reevaluate, saying, okay, well, I know I'm going to get married one day because that is what I want. And when I find the right person, it'll happen for me. And it's like, okay, just because society says after college, after this, you're supposed to have this, you're supposed to have that, that's not necessarily true for everybody. And I can't say once I hit 30, like, that's when it truly clicked for me. And that's when I realized, dang, like, okay, like, I was stressing over this. I was feeling like this when the whole time what everybody was saying was true.
Yeah.
And that's that's when, in 2023, because that's when I turned 30, was when I truly, like, reinvented myself. I didn't invent, like, but did a total makeover of who I was, because my mindset officially started to change at that point.
Yeah. So, tell me about, like, because your mom was, like, in the military, correct? I just kind of remember. Yeah. So, do you think, like, her life and, like, her successes affected you in any way to make you think the way you thought?
I don't think like her life, how she lived her life or how she raised me affected me in any type of way. But I can say, like, growing up, like, being an adult now in the relationship we have now, I do wish I had when we were younger, I'd being a little bit more open and talking about things. But at the same time, like, I'm glad that we didn't have that, because now that brings us closer for me to really, like, be open and vulnerable about, like, okay, this is how I'm feeling about this. This is how I'm feeling about that. Like, I don't believe that I'm good enough for this. And in turn, she's, like, she's been my biggest champion, but she's even bigger now because I can be vulnerably open and honest and have those, like, real conversations. Like, you know, when I was younger or when we were, you know, living here, these are things I was going through, and I didn't know how to tell you because I didn't want you to be upset or mad. So I wouldn't per se, like, how she raised me, like, affected me as much. But I can say I do wish that we did have that open relationship that we have now. But I value it more now than I would have if we had it back then.
What made you transition to the relationship that you have now?
Just going through everything I went through, like, in 2019, like, feeling a complete failure, and realizing that that's nobody sees me in that way. Everybody just wants the best for me. And that was the moment where, like, I was like, okay, I need to talk to someone. And I was like, okay, let me talk to my mom about it. So being able to be open with her about how I was truly feeling and being vulnerable with her, like, changed the dynamic of our relationship, because it was like, I need to tell somebody, I need to talk to somebody, and you're the best person I can talk to. And I feel like if I tell you, you're not going to judge me. You're going to, like, try and understand where I'm coming from, but you're going to want to, like, give me advice to, not even advice to make me feel better, but just help me navigate why I'm feeling this type of way. So...
It's so weird as we get older, like, we look at our moms, it's like, oh, you've kind of been through the same thing.
There you go. Like, that's exactly what it is. And it's crazy to see that. When I tell her about stuff, she's like, yeah, that was me. I said, oh, that was you too? You went through that too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is interesting.
It is. For me, it was interesting because, like, we look at our parents and it's like they have everything together. And then we get into these conversations. It's like, oh, you didn't have everything figured out. So did you ever ask her, like, why was this? Because I asked my mom, like, why did it always look like you had it all figured out whenever we were, like, you know, living life? And I get it. We were kids. But as we got older, maybe, you know, it could have been like, all right, now they need to know a little bit more about real life. You know, so did you ever ask her that question? Like,
we do have those conversations, because one of the conversations I had with her, it was about money. And I'm like, you never showed me how to do this with money. And she was like, well, one, you were a kid. And two, she said, you wouldn't listen to me anyway. She said, so why? She said, so why would I explain something to you if I already know you're not going to listen? You're going to do what you want to do. She said, so I didn't say anything. And I said, okay. And I thought about it. Like, yeah, fair point. She's like, you were out with your friends. You were doing sports. She was like, you were being a kid. And I told her, I said, you know, I said, certain things I do wish you would have, like, talked to me about, so I'd be better prepared now as an adult versus me trying to wade through the waters and figure it out.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm glad you didn't, because it's forcing me to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, it's forcing me to figure it out and be like, okay. But at the same time, it comes to the realization that, like you said, they didn't always have it figured out either. They made it look like they had it figured out. But in 2020, y'all ain't have it figured out. Y'all were just hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
So crazy. Like, you'd be like, oh, so that day it just happened to be, like, turn out that way? Like, whatever was the day, it's like it just happened to turn out to be a good day? Like, you didn't... figure that out?
No, they were like, she's like, yeah, you know, she's like, I made sure you had this, I made sure you had that. Everything else was just, we'll figure it out. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. I thought we were, I think it's the military lifestyle. Like, you know, like it just makes you think like that structure. And it's like, oh yeah, they have to have everything figured out. There's no way they can be in the military and not have it all figured out.
And in hindsight, they never had it figured out.
Ever.
You're just like, okay. And I'm like, so how do you adult? Like, there's no real way of adulting. You're just figuring it out as you go. And I'm like, okay.
Exactly. No real way at all. You're just like, you figure one piece out, and then like the next thing you know, it's like something else is added to it, and it's just like,
yes,
yeah, it's life. It is what it is, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
And that's it. And that's pretty much how it is. Like, you're just like, oh well, okay.
Yeah. Did you ever consider going in the military?
As a girl, no. Oh no. Oh no, ma'am. Oh no, ma'am. Living through it was enough for me. Oh no, ma'am.
Oh,
I wasn't cut out. I'm not cut out for that lifestyle. I don't know how I managed as a kid. Like,
you did like being a military brat?
Let me tell everybody, I enjoyed the traveling aspect because that was so much fun. But everything else, the moving every time you do.
How many times did you move?
So we moved. Actually, Shape was my last time moving, so we moved to Shape. That was one. I moved from only twice.
Okay.
That I know of, because I was living in Texas before I went to Shape, and then we stayed at Shape until I graduated, and then I moved again. So, 3 times that I know of.
Okay. So not too bad.
Not too bad. I mean, I'm sure she moved more than I did, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like our parents always move a lot before we go, like before we come along.
Yeah, it's fine. But no, I mean, it's not too bad. But I mean, I did like the traveling part, but like just the moving and having to leave friends behind and the bonds that you created, that was hard because it's like you grew up with, like, I would say everybody that I went to school with and everybody that I graduated with, if we started out in middle school together growing up, it was like, dang, we all like went our separate ways, and it's nice to see them on Facebook and see how they're doing, but it's still like a bond you created with somebody, and some of them you keep and some of them you don't keep. So it's like, that's tough. Like, oh, we were best friends here, and now it's like, oh, you're just a happy birthday on Facebook. Oh, it's your son's birthday, your daughter's birthday. That's all it is. Yeah. It was like, wow.
Yeah, it is a huge change. So tell me how did because you got to do both. You saw friends leave you, and then you also left friends. So which one do you think is worse?
I would say, I think B, leaving friends, was worse because it's like when you leave, it's like a final goodbye. Even though the ones that left me was a goodbye, it was like there's still a possibility that maybe, you might come back, because it's always a possibility that people will come back. But it's like when you leave, it's like final. You're not coming back. So like when I left Shape to move to Virginia, surprisingly a lot of people moved to Virginia, which was quite interesting. I was like, okay, but it was like, but even though they were there, even though they were here, we still, like I reached out to some of them we didn't reach out, but it was like hard because like that was like the final goodbye. Everybody was like dispersing, and you're just like, when are you ever going to get together as a whole? Yeah, most likely never. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Unless like unless you're those like that good of a friend group that you visit each other all the time. Yeah, like I think leaving is like the hardest thing you can do.
Wow. Yeah. I never experienced that personally. I never, not personally. Everybody kept leaving me, so
hey, yeah. You was at Shape, right? Yeah, everybody did leave you. Everybody did. Looking at it, everybody did leave you.
Yeah, everybody left me. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess Shape being the stable part was the only thing that I had. So I can understand why like leaving can be hard. So how did you make friends in college? Like, how'd that go?
So, in one of my classes, and it's so funny. So one of my classes, our teacher, because it was a communications class, she said you have to follow all your classmates on your social media. Oh. So suffice it to say, I had to follow everybody on social media, and we were in class together for 16 weeks. And throughout the program, you're going to see these people throughout the whole program. So, like, that's how I mainly made friends, was within my program for class. mainly. And then some of it is just when they have events on campus or just running, like just randomly, oh, well, you're here. Like, you know, just random interactions that I would have with people. Yeah. But a lot of my friends came from people I already knew. Like, oh, I know you. So then I'm your friend. So then, like, I'm their friend, this friend. But, like, that's how I mainly made friends, per se, like, from one person meeting everybody else. But other than that, like, and then some of them did come from work. Mm-hmm. Like, when I was working. But for the most part, that was it. Just I met one person and it just blew up from there. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Are you still friends with them?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, I am.
I know, right? We don't keep friendships out here.
We don't. Like, and one of the girls, like, me and her, like, we talk on and off. Mm-hmm. And she was like, why don't we friends? Like, we are friends. It's just we don't talk like that. She's like, and I was like, maybe that's like the military and like person in me, because I'm like, I'm used to always moving, and you're just like, oh, we're just distant friends. You're a distant memory. And she was like, really? I said, I still reach out. I say, happy birthday. How you doing? I said, but I think it's just like being a military child. Like, you just used to up and leaving people. So when you like sever those relationships, it's okay. On to the next one. And she was like, dang, that's cold hearted. I said, no, it's life.
It's just life. Yeah. Like, it's just how we were raised. Like, we were raised to be like, especially because there was no social media when we were kids. So like, it was just like, I mean, it's not like I can stay in contact with you, so deuces. Yeah.
And that's what, and she was just like, wow. I said, I said, my friend, I said, look, I told her, I was like, there's one girl from college. We're still friends. I said, we don't talk all the time, but when we do, it's a great time. And she said, whatever. I said, okay.
Wow. How do you keep your friendships? Because like for me, my college friendships, I don't have any. I have high school ones, but a lot of my college ones, it didn't go the distance.
Well, like for me, like surprisingly, it's the other way around. A lot of the high school friends didn't pan out. So but for me, as far as like college wise, it's just making an effort to like reach out to them, say, hey, how you doing? Just checking to see, you know, like that's how I keep those alive. Oh, hey, you're free this weekend. Let's go grab drinks. Let's go do dinner. Some of them do have kids. I'm like, oh, well, there's this, being the big kid that I am, there's a bounce house out in Virginia Beach. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, bring the kids. Like, so just like trying to find things that if my friends have kids that we all can do, or if not, let's just do something basic when we get off of work or whatever. Like, just like a weekly check in, and even if we don't see each other, it's a weekly check. Hey, checking in. You doing all right? I know last time you talked, you had this going on. You get it handled. Things like that for me is mainly like a big thing. As far as like trying to keep friendships alive, and like I said, high school, I didn't keep a lot of. Let me take this back. It's not that I don't keep a lot of friendships. It's just we don't speak like that, if that makes sense. And like every blue moon, I get a message, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, dang, I'm good. I didn't realize we were still friends on Facebook, you know, type of situation. Sometimes. Like, oh, I know, like, so it's like, that's pretty much it, like, for me. How I keep on just trying to see if you want to grab drinks, do something, you know.
Yeah. Being in the same vicinity does, like, help that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I don't know. I think college, it was a hard time for me. It wasn't the easiest. So like after I left, college was, it was the whole culture shock, which I'm definitely going to ask you about. It just didn't work well with me. Like me and the United States did not work well together for 4 years. 4 years. And I'm not going to say like I didn't have like good times. Like it was good, like at the end of the day, I think, well, I won't even say all 4. Like the first 2 years were the hardest. And then like my third year, I had made friends in my second year. So my third year was better. And then my fourth year was even better than that. So it's just all about like the people that you surround yourself with. And at the beginning, I didn't have anybody. It was just me, and I didn't know how to make friends because when everybody came to shape, they would just come hang out with us. So that's how I made friends.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to do that. But what about for you? Like, how was the culture shock? That whole like, hey, we're going from everybody's from 1,000 million different countries to, oh snap, everybody looks like me.
It was like when I say the biggest shock of my life, the biggest shock of my life. The first thing that came to my head, okay. So my mom was living in Hawaii at the time when I moved here, when I moved to Virginia. The first thing I told her, I said, everybody is black. She said, what? I said, I never seen this many people in one area in my life. And she started laughing at me. She said, well, I said, I know black. I said, but I never seen that many black people in my life. And she said, really? I said, really?
Yeah.
And that was like the biggest shock, is just to see everybody that looked like me. And I'm like, dang, okay. Yeah. So I had to get used to everybody looking like me. And I was like, what in the world? Like, and a lot of them, of course, like if they lived in Virginia their whole life, went to the same high school, of course you know people, you know. Yeah. But it was like just a shock, just seeing that everybody, like, that was like the only shock I had, was everybody looked like me. Yeah. I didn't know how to feel. Like, dang, like, okay, all right.
I feel like you're looking in the mirror at like 24/7.
Yes, because it's like you went from being the token one black person or the token two black person to being black. Like, you're just like, oh. And it was interesting. And then like, it's just watching how everybody interacted. And it was like, okay, I don't interact with, like, it was like how everybody interacted when they've been around black people their whole lives. And for people who like know that, been around select group, like select black people, like not even select black people, like a few black people at a time, but everybody else doesn't look like you. So it's like my interactions, I was just like, why do I feel like I am not black? Like, I feel like my black card is not even nowhere to be found. And it's like, oh my God, because it, like, just let's be realistic. Like you said, we live somewhere where everybody is from different countries, different backgrounds, and you're just like, wow. So you're used to seeing people from other countries and being understanding and X, Y, and Z, but when it's your own people, you're just like, y'all still come from different backgrounds, but y'all look like me. But I don't sound like y'all. Some of the, like, you don't sound black. I don't know.
You don't sound black, and the mannerisms and all that. Yeah.
But it was like that, but then it was also like, okay, some things y'all been through, I never had to been through it before. So I was like, dang, so like, how can I relate with my own people when I have not had the same experiences as y'all? So it was like just a shock understanding, like, okay, everybody comes from different backgrounds. Yes, we all look alike, but we all have different backgrounds. And it was just understanding that, but also finding my group of people. Yeah. And once I found my group of people, which was military brats alike. Oh.
You see how it goes.
Yeah, but the difference is, it's like with them, it's like they were from Virginia. Like, they were from Virginia. They let you know, so it was like, it was just, the only common ground was we all had a military background. Like, that was it. Yeah. And that was comforting, but it was still like, dang, okay. Like, I feel like I'm missing out on a whole lot.
Yeah, I completely understand, because the people I hung out with, they were military brats as well. So it was like, oh, we have that in common, and just kind of flowed with it. But so how did you like get beyond that? Okay, like, we're military brats, we have different backgrounds. How did you guys connect beyond just military brats?
So most of it was because we had a lot of the same classes. So we were all getting like some, like, we weren't getting the same degree, but we were at the same school for the degree, if that makes sense. And so it was that, but then also just all of us having different interests that brought us together. Like, oh, I like this, wanting to share memories and create memories, but also try different and new things. So like that was something we bonded over. And then we also had like some similar things, but it was mainly we're all different. But the military military and classes like kind of solidified us.
Okay.
Per se.
Yeah, the foundation.
Yeah.
Did you try any things that they had done before to like get the experience and understand, or?
So, I mean, I was open to things that they wanted to do, and then some things I said, that's just too black for me, and I couldn't do it. I'm not about. And I looked at them and said, yeah, that's just, I said, I don't know if there's something ever like, and they said too black. I said, yeah, y'all, like, I said, I gotta get used to being, and they said, you get used to being black. I said, yeah, I don't understand what I'm saying. Like, I never been around this many black people, and y'all want me to do black people activities. I said, y'all gotta give me a minute. Don't laugh. Like, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then, because they looked at me like I was crazy. But once I was like, let it be fun. Like, I went to my very first homecoming, and I was like, oh my God. Like, it was like a shot, but it was fun. It was fun, and I kept going. Yeah. I kept going. But it was like a shot, and I was like, there's a lot of black activity around here. I said, y'all, like, woo. I said, okay. I said, why doesn't like a scene out of a rap video? Like, BET After Dark. That's what it was giving. He gave me BT after dark. I said, oh, okay, up close and personal. Like, okay. But I was just like, them helping me step out of my comfort zone really did like also bond us together because I got them out of their comfort zone. But like, oh, let's go do this. Like when new restaurants open and it was like an international restaurant, let's go try it. And they look at me like, trust me, it's good. Like, trust me. I think I know international. I know a little international food, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I was like willing to try new things with my friends. Like, did bond us really well together.
That's good. Do you think like the whole like move in the first place, like that new experience definitely kind of slowly opened your heart and mind to be like, okay, this is new, it's different, but I can do it. I mean, I've already moved from Belgium to United States. This is nothing.
It was. I mean, I was scared because there's like, okay, I grew up my whole life up with my mom. So this has been the first time, like, not living with my mom, not doing nothing with, like, not having my mom present. So I was scared because now I was living with my dad. Well, living with my dad now. And it was, like, new to me, like, someone that I'd never lived with. And it's like, yeah, we hang, we see each other. But it was, like, that was a new experience. I was, like, afraid, like, oh, my God, my mom's not there. Like, my safety net's not here.
Yeah.
And I was afraid, like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? She's not around. And that was, like, a big shock. But, like, once I got here and, like, me and my dad got to know each other better, it was like, okay, it became seamless. But it was, like, nerve-wracking in the beginning. Because I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, and then I had to learn how to drive, which was another nerve-wracking thing. Which was nerve-wracking, oh my God. I said, oh, I don't know how to drive. Like... Yeah. I'm glad I know now, but then
so tell me about your relationship with your father. How did that develop over the years, and how was it when you first got there?
So it was a shock for me because my mom and my dad are like two different people. And so it's like getting used to the fact that, okay, my mom's a little bit more strict, a little more, okay, I'm not in your business, but I'm in your business. And my dad is like, okay, your business is your business. Like, I do what you want to do. If you want to tell me, you can tell me. So it was like getting used to that aspect, like to the aspect of basically having like freedom to do what I want to do. And just the fact that, okay, you're treating me like an adult, but not like a child. And that was a shock because I'm like, okay. And as I got used to having that freedom and being open, I'm like, okay, I got this. I can handle this. And I can say now, like, my dad is just like they are like my best friends. Like, I told my dad, I was like, you're one of the girls. Like, he's like, you're one of the girls. Like, because if some juicy stuff happened and I need something, I mean, I tell my friends too, but I'm like, you're one of the girls. Like, you're gonna get the tea too. You're gonna know the messiness of it too. Yeah. I can't be the only one that knows this stuff. And it's like, so our relationship, I can't say it's like, our relationship is more of like friends versus like father-daughter, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And it's nice because it's like, okay, yeah, you're still my dad. I can come to you for like fatherly advice, but I can still approach you as like a friend. Like, hey, I'm going through this, or hey, what do you think about this? And I still get the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. So that move made a big difference in that relationship, because if you didn't move back, like, who knows? So that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting to see if I would like went to Hawaii with my mom, like where I would be now.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm glad I did this. And I told my mom that, like, I'm glad I didn't go because I don't think I would have had this relationship here.
Yeah.
And I felt like now, I told us, like, now that I'm an adult, it's like not a relationship that I necessarily needed, but it's not I didn't think I needed this relationship with my dad when I was younger. Yeah. But now that I'm older, it's like I do, like I did, and I do still need that relationship with him because like a different perspective. It's like, okay, you're showing me that, I'm your child, but you're still giving me that respect as an adult. Yeah,
I completely understand that. It was the same for me. I moved to North Carolina where my dad lives. And it felt like a complete stranger in a way, even though I would go back and visit him. In a way, it just felt like we were complete strangers because we had only spent maybe like 2 weeks to a month together every year. So to go from that and like literally being around him because he's only an hour away from my school, like it's like, oh, you're here all the time.
And that's how it felt. And I'm like, oh, I mean, I only saw you for the summertime. And when we moved to Belgium, like, I didn't see him as much because going back and forth for the plane ticket was, like, too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, of course, my mom had, like, plans for us for the summer and all that. So I'm like, okay. So it's, like, going to seeing you just about every summer to now not seeing you at all for, like, I guess, like, the 5 years we were in shape to now living with you. I was like, oh, okay. And then it was, like, at the same time, when I came to live here, my sister was here, too. So it was, like, now I'm having a new relationship with my sister because I'm an adult, you're full grown, and it's like now we're rebuilding that relationship with each other. So it was like a good time for me to rebuild those relationships with people because it didn't dawn on me, and I was telling my mom this, that even though I had sisters, Belgium was like I felt like the only child because I had no one. I had my friends, but like no one, like siblings with me. So it was like coming back, going from just being me and my mom to now being a house with my dad, my sister, and her 2 kids. I'm like, oh, this is a lot of no ways. Not used to all that because it's like just me and my mom for a long, for that whole time. Yeah. So it was like nice to rebuild the relationships and have the relationship with my sister and my dad and my nieces and nephews, which is nice.
That's good. Yeah, definitely understand that too because I have a sister as well. We have different moms, and it was so weird because, like, yeah, you're only child, but like at the same time you're not. So I was like, oh, right. What's up, girl?
That's how it was because it's like my mom, like when we were in Belgium, my mom would talk to my sister all the time. I wouldn't talk to her, but my mom would. So it was like, okay, I knew I had you, but I never had to talk to you. So now I'm going from not talking to you to now talking to you. Yeah. And then my dad had another daughter who's my younger sister, and it went from, okay, I lived with you for a little bit, not lived with you. Now it's like actually being a little bit more a part of your life now that you're graduating high school, you're in college. So it was like a lot to adjust for because like I was able to build relationships that I never had. Yeah. And it was nice.
Hey guys, we are on air. I know, right? So cool to have this. But I interrupt this podcast to ask you guys to please follow us on all of our social media sites. We have Instagram, YouTube, the podcast on anywhere you get your podcast. And please share and like this episode and comment if this episode has affected you in any way. Because the more you comment, the more you like, the more you share, the more people we reach. And the more people we reach means the more the story of mental health and military brats change. So please go and follow us on all of these websites and please share it with whoever and whomever you believe these stories will help change. Because I know that all of these stories thus far has already helped change my life. So again, I thank you guys for watching. And please like, share, comment, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, same with me and my sister. Like, we had that kind of relationship. She was definitely, I'm going to be honest, I was a butthole. I love my sister. I was a butthole growing up. I was just like, every time I came back, like, she was under my arms, and I was like, yo, dude, get away from me. you know? Like, being the older sister, like, get away from me. So, but now, like, that she's older, we're 4 years apart. Yeah, like, I love her, and I always, like, be like, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? She's, now that I've moved to Texas, she calls me, and it's nice. Like, yeah. So it's crazy, yeah. Now, so we've developed a better relationship. She knows that if anything happens, I'll be there, and if she needs to talk to me, she can talk to me, and vice versa. Yeah. And so and also like me, her, and my dad, like it's like that weird duo that works out sometimes, but other times you become a child again. So sometimes, but it definitely helped us grow with each other and see that the relationships that we thought we didn't need, actually we did. So I'm glad the same thing happened with you. Like, it's amazing to see.
It is.
Yeah. So tell me, last question. 5 years from now, where you see yourself? I know that we're not, getting bogged down on plans and stuff like that, but what's the idea?
So if this was a perfect world, in 5 years, my 2.5 kids that I don't have would be adults by now. No, joking. I mean, in 5 years, in all honesty, I can say I don't know. Like and the reason I say I don't know is because I'm not saying my right now is bad, but it's like my right now is like, okay, I'm just taking steps to be like, okay, I just finished school and I know I'm about to get busy at work because it's going to be Christmas and retail is hectic.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I can say next year I'm starting my certifications that go along with my degree. Hopefully in 5 years, if everything works out, I would like to maybe be married. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I'm teetering. The kid part, I'm teetering on that because like I want kids, but I'm okay if I don't have kids.
Same.
So it's like, so if I don't have kids in 5 years, or if I get married and I don't have kids at all, I'm okay with that. But if I get married and I have kids, I'm okay with that also. So like, it's there for me. Like it is what it is like that for that aspect. Yeah. But hopefully, I am married. Hopefully, and then I'm in like my dream job, like which. My dream job would be to manage someone's company or be a leader in somebody's company, or if not that, in somebody's company, teaching people how to be better leaders than what they already are.
Okay.
Like that is ideally my 5-year plan, but if none of that happens, I'm okay with that because I know I'm going to be better off in 5 years than I am now.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go with that 5-year plan and we're going to check back in and we're going to see where you at. But remind the people what you got your degrees in because I definitely didn't do that.
So my bachelor's degree is in journalism with a concentration in print media. My master's degree is a master's in organizational leadership. So that is what my degree is in. Both of them are. I want to get my doctorate, but I don't want to put in all that work. I'm not about to lie. Like
I don't blame you.
No, I sat and watched my dad get his doctor's degree. I said, "Oh no, ma'am, that's a lot of work."
Yeah,
and y'all saying 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh no, I love myself more than that.
I did the same thing. I watched my mom do it, and I was like. She's like, you're going to get yours? No, I'm not. You over here stressing over a paper?
Well, it was so funny because before my dad got his, I said, you know what? I'm going to get my doctorate. He said, why? I said, just so I can have it. I don't want it for nothing else. Just to say I got it. But once I watched him get his, I said, oh, no, ma'am. You're not about to have me up at, 3, 4. No, ma'am.
Exactly. Okay. I did that. We've already passed it. I did the 4 years. I did the 2. I'm done with school. You. I will get my certificates. Whatever I need to get a certificate in, I got it.
That's how I feel right now. I'm like, and I laugh. I'm like, yo, I might change my mind. And then the more I think about it, nah.
I'm not changing my mind in any way, shape, or form.
I keep hope alive, but I already know that book is closed. But it sounds so good to say one day.
Nope. Straight up, never.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Especially the money and also the money. No, I'm already broke.
Don't remind me about the money. I'm already
broke on paying off student loans already. I don't need more.
Don't remind me about the money because I gotta start paying mine off. So we don't want to talk about that.
It's heartbreaking.
I'm just hoping that I'm one of the lucky recipients that get hers forgiven. If not,
yes. Both of us. Pray to God.
I can't keep doing this. I be looking and I'm like, oh, this hurt. And then I ask myself, why did I go back to school? Because look at what I got now.
I am grateful for that one. I did go to Grantham University and I could pay that one out of pocket. So my bachelor's degree is all I got to pay off, but...
No, mine's my master's, but I still ask myself, why did I do that to myself?
Dude. Why did any of us?
But in hindsight 2020, it is going to be helpful for where I want to eventually be in life. So I give myself that.
Yeah.
But I'm still mad that I got to pay all that money back.
Okay. Nobody told us that. Nobody told us that when we were going to college. They were like, go to college. We got you.
I told my mom, I said, you sold me a pipe dream. You told me I played high school, I go to college, I get a degree, I get a good job. I said, where's the good job? Where's the white picket fence? I said, you lied to me. I said, I want a do-over.
Yeah, exactly.
Because this ain't it. I said, you never told me adulting would be this ghetto and hard. You never said I had to pay bills. You never said I had to pay bills. I had to drive myself everywhere. I gotta go grocery shopping. You never said any of that.
Well, my mom did tell me that part. And I'm not gonna lie, my mom has, like, she has helped me pay back some of my things, and I'm so appreciative for her. If I could go back, though, because we and her even talk about it, we were like, man, we should have sent you to a technical school.
Girl! You know what's so crazy? So my niece and nephew, they are 16 and 15. Mm-hmm. They're my nephew's a junior, my niece is a sophomore, so they're almost graduating.
Yeah.
And so they're going to a Magnum school because they're in the Magnum program.
Nice.
And they have where they can go to technical college. And I told my mom, I said, this is something that I do wish that they do talk to people about, is technical school or going to a trade school. Yeah. I said, because you get just as much going to a technical or trade school than you would going to a four-year school. Exactly. I said, and then when you go to trade school, like, you get, like, whatever you get your trade in, I said, look, like, you're already working. Whereas if I went to 4 years, I'm already, like, 2 years behind as far as pay-wise to the person I went to trade school. I said, so I wish that is something that people talk more about.
Yeah. Trade school was always, like, the not good enough for you. Yeah. Like, it was, like, low level. But in truth, like, technology is making all of our jobs obsolete. Like, it's absolutely.
Hello.
Like, trade is all you got now. Like, that's what's coming up.
Thank you. And I told my mom, I was like, like, I just wish those things were more talked about. Because I would rather have went to a trade school than my 4 years were paid for. Like, I didn't have to pay for anything, but my master's, I said, I would have just did that versus going to a 4-year degree. Yeah. I said, because I had been well into my career by now, well into whatever I want to do. Yeah. I said, and the payout would have just been as good. Yeah. I said, that's one thing. I'm glad that my niece and nephew are learning in school, like, that there is an option. You don't have to go to college per se. Yeah. You can go to trade school, learn a trade, and be well on your way. Because it's like this one girl, her boyfriend that I work with, her boyfriend is, I think, 18, 19, something like that. And he went to trade school, and she was like, oh, he's coming electrician. I said, oh, that's nice. You telling me he come out of work, make almost $80,000 a year? I said, girl, let me go be an electrician now. Because I'm like, and I'm over here looking like, dang, okay. I said, are you going to keep him or no? No, let me stop. Because I mean, like, because you make it, you're with someone who's 19 making $80,000, but by the time he hit his 30s, he could basically retire if he wants to. Yep. I said, who doesn't want that? Yep. So.
Shoot, that's what I'm doing. And, like, that's not really what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing this because I know that this is needed, and I love, like, doing this podcast. I also know that outside of this, like, I gotta have other things, like, going on. Because, like, this will be something that eventually will bring money, but I want to put it back into this. And then everything else is kind of, like, providing for me. And I also know, like, my job has the potential, like, I'm a contract specialist. I know it has a huge potential to just go straight to AI. Like, and them look at me and be like, oh, you're not needed. So, like, your girl, we got to have multiple skills.
And it's so, and like, that is one thing that I'm learning is, like, multiple streams of income. And I'm like, dang, I do want to have multiple streams of income. But it's like me taking that, what do I want to have extra income in, Like, what is it? Like, what skill do I have? Like, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Yeah. And I was like, But I'm like, congratulations, though. Look at you, Gina, doing it. You're doing big, though.
Thank you. Yes.
And I'm proud of you and your podcast. Like, I'm very happy for you and your podcast.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to see that it's nice to see people who went to shape to speak out to. Like, that is very nice, just listening to everybody's story. Yeah. It's very, very nice. And I'm glad you are doing it.
Thank you.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Because I feel like for everybody, like, everybody knows you. Like, everybody knows you in some type of capacity. Yeah. So it's easy to talk to you as if it was, like, somebody else. Yeah. I was like, oh, look at my girl, Gina.
I know. It's like, and I kept seeing you like stuff. I was like, yo, I haven't seen Briana or talked to Briana in so long. And it's just so good to reconnect.
Yeah, it is. Because I mean, like I told him, I have like everybody's stuff on Facebook. She was like, why? I said, because I'm happy for everybody. Like, I can truly say that now. I'm genuinely happy and no envy. I said, but it's nice. I said, and I told her, like, what Gina is doing is good because it is good to see life. I say, life after shape. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, what is your life like after shape?
Exactly.
Like, you know, we all had our highs and our lows. I said, I'm glad Gina's doing it because everybody knows you. Mm-hmm. In some way, everybody knows you.
It's true. Yeah. So it's so weird. It is so weird, but it's so true. Like, and sometimes like people would like reach out to me and I was like, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Like, I don't remember like everybody I went to high school with or went to school with. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Like somebody who hung out with like, one of the girls I just had, like he reached out to me and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad that, you know, her story resonated with you and that, you know, it's helping you. So like, I really do enjoy doing this and getting to reconnect with everybody because it's so weird to just go to high school with people and then never talk to them again. And then like our parents and anybody else we meet, they go to the 10-year reunions. So for me, this is in a way reunions, you know? So
it is. And I like it. Like I said, I enjoy what you're doing, Gina. You're doing like a really good job.
Thank you.
And I am so proud of you. And I love the YouTube channel, by the way, FYI.
Gracias. Yes, everybody go to YouTube. Please go subscribe, y'all. Let's get this out, okay?
Because I'm about to watch your movie. So after this, we're going to watch the movie. Like,
oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Girl, honey, first, YouTube is, honey, I binge watch YouTube on my days off. So that's what I'm about to do now. Finish watching the YouTube. Like, and you're next on my YouTube, so it's okay.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, girl. Moving Vlog is out. I have moved to Texas. It is insane. 18-hour trip. But hey, we're out here and I'm excited and it's been good so far. It's been about a month, so.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy for you, Dana.
Thank you. Come visit me, you know. Come out to San Antonio. I'm gonna cut out this part. So come out to San Antonio. Come visit.
Ooh, that's nice. I have family in San Antonio too. That's not bad.
Well, come on out, girl. There's plenty of Shapians out here too. Apparently, shoot.
Well, I didn't realize that many people lived in Virginia, like Northern Virginia. I was like, dang, all y'all live up here. I mean, it's just interesting where everybody flocked to.
Yeah. Like I just came from Augusta, and like Paris. Her parents are there.
Yeah.
I think like I don't know if you remember Drea and them. They're like just a whole bunch of shape people that are just in Augusta. And I'm just like, that's insane.
It is.
Absolutely insane. So, but it was nice talking to you, girl.
Yeah, girl. Thanks for having me on the podcast. This was nice.
Of course. Yes. And I would love to have you on again. If like I post about a topic and you want to be a part of it, definitely hit me up because have you seen PJ and me and Nas's
I was like, I saw that. I said, oh shit, she had two people this time.
Yep. So I want to do another one like that with like girls. So it's going to be like the girls. So yeah, definitely going to do that.
All right, good job. Go, girl. You go, Gina.
We're going to have some fun. It's going to be a whole bunch of topics that we're going to be talking about on. So I will reach out to you again.
Yes, of course. Hopefully the weather cooperates this time.
Girl, yes. Yeah, I know. That Debbie was not playing.
Okay, we got Debbie for 2 more days. 2 more days.
Oh, 2 more days. Man.
And from what it sounds like, she just hit. A little bit of rain.
Dang. Hopefully... I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There are a ton more tea time episodes as well as stories that are going to be shared on this podcast to come. So please like and subscribe or follow down below. And I will see you all next Military Brat Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I am so excited to continue this journey with all of you.